Are we live tonight? Good evening, rock lovers, and you rock folk all over the place that rock so much. Welcome to the Friday Night Live. Mwah! We're here together. We made it through another week, and it is time to look at some rocks. And what a wonderful show we have planned for you this evening. We've got a guest on Freeform Lapidary going to be showing us the goods. We're going to be talking about, of course, artistry in cabs and making that happen, but also what in the world do we pay for this stuff? I buy cabs. I also am known to shift them off to new houses as well. And so we would love to have a discussion about those things, and of course many more things as well. So we're going to go ahead and get our howdy do, salutations, and steinkerns all out of the way from the top here so that we can get into it. We've got Lava Bison already 25. Are you the winner of an auction? Are we auctioning something right now? All right, we've got Ma also here in the house, as well as Jeff and Weathered and Weary. Good to see you too. Thank you for coming. We've got Jerry, the Wisconsin rock stalker, responsible along with good old Betty for the Saturday Night Live. You're here tonight on the Friday Night Live, an auspicious one at that. And so don't forget, there's plenty of lives to come all weekend long. Brenda's right there, right after. And so hello to you, as well as Lori. Good to see you as well, as Candy Cane and Tara. I saw you up there in the chat, as well as Cliff. And let me just PSA here really quick. Cliff was talking about faceting machines. Has the Vever, however you want to tomato, that company. We've had both wonderful things from them, and that right there, that mill, and then things that maybe not so much. And their faceting machine, people like Patrick and others have tried and wrangled some fixes into that machine to make it somewhat capable. I would highly recommend, and this is just an opinion, if you want to really get into faceting, cut to the chase. See if you can borrow one from your friends at a local rock club during, open lab night, or perhaps get a used machine if you can't plonk down the big money right from the get-go. And so I had to. He was talking about this way up at the beginning of the chat and the evening, and I definitely wanted to carry out the response to that. So good luck to you with your fiery indulgences there, Cliff. I can't wait to see what you do. We've got Blind Squirrel Rocks in the house. Harold is also here. Good to see you. Soul Adventurous is adventuring on in here. Good to see you as well. We've got Allison Prairie Girl Rocks, another one you gotta check out on Wednesdays. I was able to lurk and work on Wednesday for that fun conversation, and just a big massive meteorite to fawn over, like literally fondle. So if you're in the mood for that kind of an experience, you can check out the replay for sure. And Jeff had a drop as always. I think it's always on Wednesday night, sometime in the evening for everyone. And Don, the Opal guy, also dropped a fun microzone style deal. And that's always so much fun to see. I'm so excited about that. So go check out the Opal guys' current drop. And we had our friend Manny Anamare is always dropping some cool videos too. Resort Dog is here. Thank you for coming. And we got the 5x5. I'm catching up. I'm catching up. I'm about 3 minutes behind Lava Bison, but it does sound like we have a reason to drink to that. So let's do it. Oh my gosh, where's my Steinkern? Steinkern tsunamis, salutations, and good rock hunts to you and yours. Cheers. And it sounds like Allison is off to make some music. Good on you. And have a great time. I hope you have a wonderful gig. Oh, and there is Manny also, just a sliding on in. That was somewhat serendipitous or all that. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm just so pumped for tonight. I'm gonna try to giggle and babble on the minimum so that we can get this rocking. And oh dear. Okay, more opinions happening here. Ma is saying for Beaver can recommend the chair they make. The facet machine and drill press are, well, you get it. Yeah, it's such a hit and miss. And when it's good, it can be really good. I really, really like the mill, and I also have their uh another toy. I don't think I've outed that one yet, so we need to do that all as a group at some point soon. We got the Rock Betty here. We've got Mark Lee here as well. Good to see you. I'm pretty sure I said hello to Chubby Hubby because there was helloing to happen at the very beginning before we got started. And so I think we helloed already, but I do not want to miss anybody. We've got Kid Curry zooming on in that boat. Good to see you. Aye, aye, Captain, and all that. What? What kind of wet resort dog? I'm sorry. I told you I'd try to keep the giggling to a minimum. That just doesn't really happen that easily. And we're scrolling down, making sure that we have said the hellos and that I'm not missing out. And yes, Cliff, there is an upgrade kit available. Turtle, what something. Also, a very good source for facet rough. There's some synthetic sapphire that I really want to get that is actually from the windows of fighter, like high-tech fighter planes. I just want to facet that so bad. Okay, yeah, and you can't remember the name either, but yes, that is actually a, from what I understand, a good option, and I'm pretty sure that Patrick went down that route and has a video on it if anybody is interested. So, yep, there's going to be tangents. You are absolutely right, and Anna Mara is like, no, nobody tangent. No, we're just too late. We're too late on that. Spot's here. Good to see you, Spot. I saw you earlier along too. See, I've got to be thorough. I'm pretty sure I said hello to Lonnie too, but I am in the business of doubling down. When the short beginning of the show attention span is quite rapid. So, like I said, we've got this wonderful guest and topic that we are going to be covering, and dadgummit, I did miss getting my official news glasses. And so we're going to get right into it. I do not want to tarry about and you guys are just going to have to live with the news the way that it is. It's the Ozone news, 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 news. In the news tonight, we have all the good things, but more importantly, we have these things to talk about. Of course, we're going to be talking about great cabs with our friend Freeform Lapidary. It is Friday the 13th, everybody. How did that happen again? Well, Mud explained the physics to me about if it's going to be in a leap year February, we get to double down in March, and here we are. So we're enjoying this splendiferous Friday the 13th, gem filled and quite auspicious all over again, which leads us to our spot prices all over the world. We've got 83.70 for silver, not bad. It went up and then it came down again, and then it popped up a little bit one more time in the course of when we spoke last. And so it pretty much held steady. And so if you are in the business of needing to get some silver, then it's twice as much as it was before, a year ago, but it's not too bad right now. We've got gold at $5,044.60. Platinum is at $2,077, and palladium is at a sweet 1,612. So let's get to work with those projects, and let's not let those metals get us down too much. Here in the studio, we have been doing tumbles some more. We are tumbling for you. It's been fun. We are learning on our second batch. We let the first grit tumble longer, and we let the second grit, which is the 500 for our vibratory tumbler, tumble longer as well. And for that, we are getting the rewards. I'd love for you to look at this little sunstone, and it's got some pretty decent shine on it for just coming out of the 500. It still has I believe that the pre-polish is something like a 1200, right around there. If I read the package without being so excited to rip through it that I misread. And then we've got the polish stage still to go, but we're already looking at a shiny shine in the sunstone. Pretty stoked about that. And so here we've got an example of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for gems to facet. So that is why I'm tumbling the sunstone. And this here cut is Arya Akivan's Ruination cut. Is my favorite round cut at the moment. Gotta love the triangles with the circle at the same time. It works into what I like to put together jewelry wise very, very much. And here is another one. That was a Schiller sunstone before, and this is what they look like when they don't have Schiller. Some of them you would call champagne, but this one has a very cold look to it. One of the reasons why I'm very excited to window the stones with the tumbler is that you can see if there's tonality to a body tone. Sometimes when you have the Schiller, the pink Schiller, it will make a green body tone adjacent. This particular stone actually had the halo and probably broke away from a Schiller stone, is my guess. There was no visible Schiller in this particular stone, but it does have a cold green tint to it. And so win for the tumbling. I would have never seen the green tint had it not been for tumbling the gem first, bringing it to a shine, seeing that it had a body color, and then faceting it. Otherwise, it would probably be in a bin, drawer, or bowl, waiting and maybe never getting used. So I am particularly excited about having a crystal ball into the gems and being able to see what I've got to work with. We have amethyst ready to facet. I've got these lovely, what I believe are natural. They are light bodied, and a lot of times when you get the heated ones, they are so rich in color that I actually was gifted these particular stones to facet, and yet so I don't know their exact origin, but judging on their hue, I would even guess to say that they might have been, broken pieces from a collection of crystals on, say, a specimen piece. That's a great use. If you ever break your specimen pieces, go ahead and send them to me. I'll fasten them right up. So at any rate, I'm moving into these colors because I'm doing the spring, getting ready for the spring jewelry drop, and that will be all sorts of hues that are associated with the blossoms and all the growth, sunshiny goodness of spring. So we are getting ready for that here in the studio, and I am cutting the pavilion here. And yes, there are even more strokes on my golf game, which is actually something to say because I have quite the strokes on my golf game to begin with. We've got tonight's guest, Freeform Lapidary. Caleb is going to be coming on, and we would love to just have you find all the things wrong with this picture, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Probably bring that back up for him to weigh in on how many wrong things you can find in this picture as well. And we also, of course, want to advertise what it is that we're going to be talking about. Specifically, we're going to be talking about some more cabs, these fantastic Moroccan agates. And then we are also going to be talking about some of our price gauges, which is very, very exciting. But this eye full of eye candy, I can't wait to chat with Caleb about. And so for no reason to belabor this at all, we should get Caleb right on out here. Ah, there you go. I surprised you. Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to be looking away, maybe taking a drink or something like that.
You got me. I was looking at cabs.
Well, that's appropriate. I'm doing great tonight. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a really long week. I've been battling like severe allergies all week long, and it's been really brutal, like to the point to where I basically felt sick from Monday till today. And I'm
Wow.
actually feeling a lot better today, which is nice and relieving. So, but other than that, doing pretty good.
Do you think that you're feeling better today because it's the end of the work week? You want to feel better for the weekend?
I was really hoping I would start feeling better today because even up till yesterday, I was absolutely miserable. I still have a lot of this, basically sick symptoms going on, just without all of it coming out of my nose and everything, which is nice.
It is
But
nice. Thanks for clearing that up before you came on the show.
I was a little worried for a second because, I mean, just trying to do daily functions like working and other stuff was kind of brutal. So I'm glad I'm feeling
Ooh,
better for this.
definitely. And we're so happy that you're feeling better too. And so, like, what exactly started you on this Moroccan agate group?
Okay. I got that slab actually quite a while back from a friend of mine who does some absolutely phenomenal flat face polishing. And a lot of times, he likes to have things to be full face. I mean, that's pretty key with certain collectors who collect that kind of stuff like thunder eggs, geodes, agate, nodules, all that stuff. They want the full face. And so he tends to keep the end cuts and little scrap pieces and stuff. To give away or to trade with people or do whatever. And I usually end up with quite a few of those. And so he gave me this piece a while back. I lost it. I found it, which happens quite often in my studio. And Yeah, I decided that it was just time to work it. I've been trying to keep my focus with the material that I cut to be kind of just either rare or high grade or unique pieces, and it was time to polish that piece up. So I broke it down or
Nice.
processed it.
Yeah, so do I have a picture of it? Did you send me one when we were
Oh, I
chit-chatting?
did.
I think
I
okay,
did.
so I believe I have this. Is
Okay.
this it right here? Is this our culprit? Can you see it?
I don't see anything at the moment. Is it
Oh,
just
okay.
the
It
slab in my hand?
yes, yes,
Okay, yeah.
with like a great big puddle of quartz in the
Yep.
middle, and then the really interesting outer border, because of course now everybody can be kind of looking adjacent to that in the background, trying to choose where these pieces were from.
Right. And some of them actually you won't even really get to see where they came from. Some of them you might have a little bit of a telltale, but that was the obviously the cut side of that slab, and a lot of these cabs are actually cabbed from the other direction.
Ah,
Not all,
yeah.
but some of them. That
So
that piece was really razor bladed, that slab. So like one whole side of it was basic, or probably almost half of it was near unusable because of how thin it was.
oh
And
wow.
then obviously the quartz, I didn't mess with that section at all, and majority of the clear agate I didn't mess with either, just because it just kind of runs flat against the patterning of the edge. Um, and so yeah, a lot of what you're seeing is mostly from like one side of it, where it was actually thick enough in some sections on that side where I could get two cabs out of.
Wow, that is quite the range, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about how to orchestrate that. But first, I'd like to welcome Brian and Scott into the chat. Thank you for joining us. And Manny, yes, get a tumbler, and also ring the bell for Reptile Z, who is a new member of the Ozone tribe. So
Very
let's ring
nice.
this bell. And Ma is saying thin, send it to me. Uh,
There are a few salvaged pieces that are going to go in the box I'm sending you.
oh wow. Okay,
They
so
are
she called
small,
it
but I'm sure she works magic with little pieces and thin pieces. So
Mudgic. Definitely. Cynthia Foss, welcome in. And also, we've got a question from you coming up that I would like to thank you in advance for. And I think that takes care of our howdy do's. So, we were talking about the thin to the fat, and I believe that probably almost everybody out here that has ever bought a slab or works with some kind of rough has had to dealing with an odd shape, when
mhm.
it's a bad cut or what have you. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you managed to
Yeah,
wrangle this beast?
sure. So initially, it started off with just kind of assessing how thin I wanted to go, because obviously you have just the thin side in general, and then you're thinking about adding a little bit of dome into your cab, so you really have to play with that a little bit. And so I would say they probably average fairly close to the same thickness overall, but a couple of them are a little bit thinner just to try to utilize. So like maybe a little lower dome, but they are all considered probably fairly low dome and low height. I think I measured one of them, which was one of the thinner ones, and it was a little over 3 mils at the thickest.
Gotcha.
Um, and
Which
that's
is
actually
that's thin.
Yeah, and just as a little side tangent, like some people like to cut nice, thick, chunky stones. Some people will do kind of whatever. I do whatever if I can get them. It really just depends on my mood. But I have certain customers of mine that love working with my shallow cuts,
Yeah.
especially for like if they're ring stones, which seems to be the most I say prominent reason to maybe cut thin cabs is the low profile of a ring stone. Some people like whatever for men's rings, you know, or something that's kind of has like a just like a little bit more of a men's feel to it. That low profile, not going to get hung up on a lot of stuff, is key for some of them. So they really like that. So, you know, if you're cabbing and you're trying to sell stuff, have some variety out there. You know, throw some of those thinner ones out. Um, and
Agree.
back to just processing it. I wish I should have taken a few pictures, but I wasn't really thinking of this far ahead. Um, but you know, it's I started off by cutting from the thin side straight in, basically cutting out the quartz pocket, leaving myself with this rind that was more processable. And then I started narrowing into the clear agate because that was such a heavy area as well. I wanted to keep some of it, but I didn't want it to be like the mass of the cabs. Um, and so then I started just like ripping through, and it was really just kind of making decisions like in spots where the agate came really close in, like the banding came really close into the edge, maybe ripping through that spot instead of kind of a fatter agate layer. So I could try to capture a little bit more meat of it into the cabs. Um, and yeah, and then just I started off with some kind of rough shaping ideas with the slicing, and then I kind of tackled another problem, which was the host. So along the edge there, you see that kind of like yellow and green matrix on the outer edge. That stuff's actually like a touch softer. And so it was giving me
Mm.
a little bit of, you know, when I was doing my shaping on the wheels and stuff, giving me a little grief. So the shapes did alter just slightly, you know, having to bring things in to be a little more even and getting it. And also being careful when I was cabbing it to not press too hard in those zones to get everything even. Uh,
Yeah, that's really an interesting hurdle when working with some of the more interesting stones for all intents and purposes, like the Crazy Lace and Moss Agate. I'd like to welcome in Sonia and Rocky Mountain Bear. And so I can see that a lot of the kind of pretty greens were relegated to the edges, or maybe
mhm.
not at all on your group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can be a little pity too. Um, So you got to kind of just work with it as you go and try to get, you know, the best. So like a couple of those spots in the cabs, there's like a tiny bit of undercutting, but it's not really that bad.
Right. And so we actually have a picture here that you shared also, that it looks like you're getting ready for some dops. And some of the pieces look like they've come almost to, like the pre-polish, whereas some of them are coarser. But it actually does underscore some of your what looks like the undercutting here.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that's
Oh
correct on
boy,
some of those.
yeah. You can't
I
see
can't see
that.
it, but I remember the photo now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I would say about, half of them look frosted still, and
Right.
then, the color is well prominent in the others, so they look like they're at the very least on, the some of the finishing novas
Yeah,
before
I think I took those ones to 280, and that's when well, that's a part that I shared with you, is that the reason why there's a couple of those a little bit more finished was I took all of them to the rough wheels first to get kind of the rough shaping, and then I wanted to dop everything. And I'm running into an issue at the moment where my dop wax is failing. And so
Right.
all of those stones popped off the dops, every one of them. And so that's why some of them are a little bit further ahead, because I started to jump to the next wheel and then they all just started coming off.
Not cool. I can't recall if you had said whether or not you tried adding a little bit more shellac to your dop wax?
No, I've actually never done that.
Okay.
I probably should at some point. That way I'm not just wasting wax and tossing it. But I
You've got
usually
nothing to
get
lose
right.
right now.
I probably should experiment with that and see if I can
Yeah.
rein it in. That way I'm not losing so much. Not that I lose a lot, but every once in a while it gets to that point after a while of reheating it over and over that it starts
Yeah.
to not work out so well. Um, So yeah, I should probably look into that. But I did eventually. Oh, just a fun fact: as I processed all those, I was just struggling my way through all of the dop wax problems without. I was rushing through this over a couple days, like after work, and I only had like an hour here, a couple hours here to try to get these done. And so I just kind of pushed through it. So if I kept having them pop off, I just kept the dot pot going. I'd run over there and pop them back on, try to shove as much wax
Uh,
on there and cover up like the whole underside as I could, and then just get through. And I just needed to get through like 280 and like 600, and then you don't. It's a little bit easier on the last two or three wheels. So
oh
a
my
couple
gosh,
of them
that's
I did finish by
crazy.
hand though because the frustration was real at that point.
Yeah, like I'm just imagining you willing these rocks to stay on their tops, please, just
And you
for a
might
little
ask,
longer.
Caleb, why didn't you just put some new wax in there? Well, I'm out, so that's why.
Ah, gotcha. Hi, Bob. And also, it looked like Manny was asking if you had considered the weather as part of the potential problem. And I think you and I talked about that too.
It can be, especially in the winter months when it's colder. If your water goes cold, I typically try to, if I'm really working heavy with the dops and not just freehanding things, run hot water. So I'll go to the sink, dump a ton of hot water in there, and then and that does generally help. Because I have worked out here when it's freezing outside, and it does not help when your water is ice cold.
No.
For those of
It
you that
can
don't know,
be
as dop wax gets colder, it becomes more brittle, and they'll pop off easier. It shrinks up
right.
more and more until eventually it releases the stone.
Yeah, and that can happen without you knowing it. Like if you like to dop ahead quite a bit, if they're sitting around, and
Hmm.
I mean, even if the temperature change isn't that cold, it can be radical enough from one temperature to another temperature to make it brittle. It doesn't have to be necessarily like prohibitively cold, as it were,
Right.
because I've had some fail just because I dopped ahead and just didn't get to certain stones and look at a puppy and a squirrel and then came back to them and there was it was not at all surprising that some stones flew.
Yep. I mean, I get to the point because like I work down in my workshop. It gets cold down here. There's no heat unless I'm running a little heater. And so there's times where, like, even just a few weeks ago when I had cabbed up, like, I don't even know, was it like, it felt like 40 turquoise cabs that I dopped all ahead of time. And I took them upstairs with me and put them in my room or living room to sit overnight so I wouldn't run into those issues. And I brought them down the next day.
Yes, we all have humidors for our dops and cigars. Rocky Mountain Bear was wondering about Atlas Mountain agates, and was wondering if these were them. And so maybe you could clarify, just for anybody who's dropping in, what these are.
As for a specific location for these Moroccans, I wasn't given that information. I know there's different deposits over there from, like, you can see a lot of seam agates that have these orange and reds and matrix going on. And these ones actually came out of a nodule, so it might be a little bit different source, or, I don't know how exactly where from over there they came from.
Gotcha. And Anamare Arts is saying, I put my dops or dopes also in the freezer when I'm ready to transfer. And that's literally how you get them to release
Yep.
is, to get them cold. And so obviously you don't want to do that before you want them to release for sure.
And
Don,
just a little tip for that, real quick.
yeah.
If you've just finished, polishing, and if your stones have pockets or fractures, or maybe a little bit of your matrix is a little pitty and it soaks up a little bit of water, don't throw your stones right in the freezer when you're done with them. Let them sit for a day or somewhere warm and dry out a little bit, because I've had
Ooh.
either fractures get worse from expanding water that got in somewhere, or broken them in half completely. So give them a little time if you're working something kind of like that.
That is a genuinely golden piece of advice right there. I have had that happen as well. There's nothing worse than getting all the way past the finish line and then having something break on you. You know, we only
Right.
expect that from opals. So Donahue Labs is saying, ouch, I hit my thumb, but at least the video has one more like. Thank you so much for that, Patrick. Your ears must have been burning. We were talking about you. And then you guys have been talking about some different waxes in the chat. And one thing I would love to recommend that you do is if you do have a favorite kind, post it up in the lapidary part of the Discord if you wouldn't mind, because I know a lot of people have struggles with this. My favorite green wax, one of the things that I saw go by was that Reptile Z suggested black wax, and Ma was saying I think that she had tried it but it didn't hold right. There are different waxes for different functions for sure. There are different colors. And my favorite green wax, which in theory would be the very same stuff that Caleb is talking about, but isn't, is discontinued.
Mm.
So yeah, I got mine from Rio, and they don't even have the SKU listed anymore.
Oh no.
It's a true story. So I have a little
Ugh.
bit left. And before I get to Caleb's point of not being able to like even do anything about it because I'm out, it would be awesome for everybody to kind of share around. And so if you have like a brand, maybe the brand of black wax as opposed to the brand of green wax, you know, are different enough. So I would love it if you guys wanted to group think this together. And you know, unfortunately the chat here is a little too transient. Like if you shared here, that's great, you know, everybody here would be able to benefit. But if you were to post it over either in the comments here, if you don't do Discord, or over on the Discord, it would be so appreciated by everybody who needs to get some decent wax going. And Sonia is asking a question. Why not use the crazy glue and an accelerator?
I do use that sometimes. I have had marginal success with it, at least with the stuff that I've used, like CA glue with an accelerator. It seems to want to fail on me quite a bit. I know a lot of people do it that way. It's fine. It's nice. You can heat it up, you know, heat the whatever you use. If you're using like a nail or something, for example, you can heat that up and pop it right off, and it cleans up pretty easily. Um, could just be me. You know, I'm not sure. I would like to have something a little bit quicker like that that I don't that I can have readily available, but I've just had real mild results with it. Or yeah.
Yeah, and I would agree. We're actually getting some interesting hacks here. And so I know I'm going to have to do something about compiling these hacks and maybe sharing them over to Discord when I make the chapters. But I have found that with some stones, especially larger stones, the glue on dops doesn't work so good for me. And so
Hmm.
I've gone full time to wax because it's just more reliable for me. And I use glue and epoxy almost entirely on the faceting machine. So cabber is equals wax, and faceting machine equals CA accelerator and epoxy both, because I do not want to lose a stone. No way, no shape, no how on that faceting machine, you know, because that's game over. So you guys are full of some really good comments here. I got one from Rocky Mountain Bear talking about super glue and cornstarch. Have you heard of that, Caleb?
Nope.
Because we can try that. I'm willing to try anything. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it, you know, there's some glues that you make in your kitchen that you wish you could use in your lapidary studio, right?
Fair.
If you're
Yep.
any kind of cook like myself. Okay, so we've got like an enormous, beautiful, bouncing baby tangent going on there. So, but we can get back on track with your cabs. We've got this picture here, but we can go actually to the one where we've got Let's get that bad boy and stop. Here are the finished pieces, and we've got a myriad of different shapes and some really interesting compositions. So, do you want to take off with some explanations for those?
Sure. So I was really trying to be inclusive and get as much character into the stones as possible here. So some of them, are about 50-50 with some of the clear agate, and some of the crazier ones where it was just a little bit meatier with that agate. I was able to get a lot more of that be the key feature. But everything here was fairly intentional. Once I started processing the agate layered there, getting these pieces, cutting in from rough and then splitting them and stuff, all, and then the shaping, everything, it's all intentional. This wasn't just like happenstance. This is like I was really trying to focus in and get some variety to the look, which I think I accomplished decently. And then let the ones that just had the full character, like the some of the ones in the bottom row, just really shine with all that agate goodness going on.
So Jerry is saying we need a coin to judge the sizes. So can you give us
Oh,
a few thumbnails on what you've got here?
well, if you can blow me up here, I can give you at least like the very center one. I have it. I have all of
Okay.
them right here, but I can give you the center one. As for a coin, actually, I don't think I have a coin on me, but
Jerry,
you
you
know,
ask and you shall receive.
to the size, it's not really that big, but it's a
Oh,
decent
that's
sized
that's
stone.
big for jewelry composition.
Right.
If you're thinking about application, what would you say? That's maybe from top to bottom about 2 inches?
No, I would say probably about an inch and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's about as long as, I think that's the longest stone from end to end. So everything is much smaller than that.
All right. Let me get these guys back up here. And it's not time to go live. We're already live. So bring it back. Okay. So for the chat, I would love for you guys there, starting on the left-hand side and going top row. Those are 1, 2, 3, 4. And then starting on the bottom left with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would love for you guys to put your favorite into the chat so we can kind of get a tally as to at least what the public choice on success is. And meanwhile, I would like for you to tell me what your favorite of this group is, or maybe your top free. I need more Steinkern while you speak.
My top, actually, let's go with my absolute favorite. My absolute favorite is probably the bottom left one.
Ah, mm-hmm.
Something that's you guys might be able to see on your screens if you're watching on a monitor. It's a little tough for me to see here on such a small screen, but that whole bottom section of like clear agate there that has the bits of red in it,
Uh-huh.
that's that reddish tinting that kind of goes through it before it goes super clear on the tip. It's full of just micro red specks. They're just little dots of red specks all throughout that, which makes for a really cool effect.
Are they kind of like platelets, like the platelet
Um,
style?
Platelets? Uh, no, I mean they just look like little red dots.
How
Tiny, tiny,
cool.
tiny little red
Like
dots.
spheres.
Yeah,
And
like spheres that are just all throughout it.
wow, Brian is checking out, but would like to announce that Sunday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, if you were wondering, they are going to be going live. And so uh thank you, Brian and Julie, if you're around for coming. And then right now we've got a pretty good little tally. Kid Curry says 8 and 9. Ma says 7. Betty says 4 and 7.
Mhm.
Reptile Z says 2 and 10. Bob's Rocks says 4 and 8. So nobody could really come up with one favorite, which I like. We're going with multiples here. Blind Squirrel Rock says 6 and 9. Eric the Cat says 8. Jerry says that's tough. Harold says 4. Markley says 6, 7, and 8, but all of them are awesome.
Thank you.
Lonnie says 6 and 7. Cliff says 4, 8, and 9. Spot says 2. Resort Dog says 5 and 9. Lori says 7. And Soul is saying 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like pretty much the bottom row.
Right.
And Jerry said bottom row 2 after she posted that, actually. So yeah. And Brenda is saying 5 and 10. Scott is saying 1 and 9. Thank you guys all for weighing in on that. And does that surprise you at all? What are you thinking?
No, because everybody's, tastes and takes on things are all just a little bit different. And one thing that I actually love hearing from you guys, because I don't usually get a whole lot of feedback like that. This is exactly what I go for when I cut cabs, is to try to appeal across the board with the same material, if that makes sense. So that could be because of shaping or the content, or if I tried to capture something, all of that applies. And you guys just gave me everything that I want out of that, is to you guys to all to walk up and be like, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one. And that's what I try to do to kind of, I guess, separate myself from other people. I mean, everybody can kind of do this, but that's what I hope for, is to appeal to everybody.
Yeah. Well, you just got that in real time. I don't think anybody's pulling punches here. That was like very honest, as far as the assessments go. And I did like how I don't believe that any of them didn't get a vote, which is super cool. There were some standouts.
As there would be, as you'd expect.
Yeah, where, they pinged on several people's radars. And that didn't surprise me as far as, I would have said the same as what those kind of top 3 were. I would say that, 7 and 8, and I think 5 and 6 were kind of tied
Mhm.
for,
And 9 got a lot
and
of
9,
attention.
9
That's what
got a
you'd
lot of,
expect.
yeah. So what do you think is going on as far as the success with those?
What do you mean by that?
So what do you think, like, say, let's just take number 7.
Mhm.
What's the successful, why is that so dang appealing? Because I saw 7 come up a lot.
At least as far as like the bottom 5 large ones, it's kind of a standout because it has a little bit more of the white, and then it just has this a white border with this one like orb kind of, or 2 orbs or so, kind of coming up through it, which I think stands out from the other ones. They're a little bit busier and kind of similar in ways. So this one's kind of like a standout. They all have a little bit of that white, but that one's kind of like feels like the most prominent, with that white agate in there.
Yeah.
And the shape.
Yeah.
The shape is a very appealing shape if you like freeforms.
Oh, for sure. I mean, as soon as I saw that one, I could just make the most immediate piece of jewelry out of that one, out of the entire lot, honestly. Like that one, just like, yep, I know exactly what I'd do with it. My personal favorite actually is the one to the right of it, though. Like my personal favorite was number 8. And
that's probably my
oh
second
my God.
favorite.
So
It's so good.
which one was yours? Which one is your absolute favorite?
It's the bottom left, solely
Oh, that's
really
right.
because of it has the most amount of those little red orbs that you only look at or can see if you like got it right here.
And I think that that's actually a huge part of it, especially with jewelry, is that there are pieces that if you're standing at like you're not on a, Standing too close to somebody, smother-a-thon, like Space Invader type distance. If you're normal distance from somebody wearing jewelry, then some of the more simple compositions are going to be more exciting. Whereas if you're the wearer, if that piece all the way to the left was placed on a really nice long necklace that you could just gem gaze at it all the time, then
Mhm.
you would be able to enjoy the little particulate orb thingies in there.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it will reward you for the more intimate and the micro gazing that you would want to do.
And for me, like that one actually opens up into you could do an open back on it. Now the backs on these are not polished, and I kind of do that intentionally with some things. With opaque stones, it doesn't really matter unless you really unless it's something really big and maybe you want the back to be open. It's less silver for the smith. And if it looks different front to back, that can be kind of an appealing thing. But with ones like that where it has so much clear in the bottom, it looks better when you can look through it.
Yeah, yeah, and that is another thing. I actually didn't realize how clear some of these were until you
Mhm.
just were holding it up in your studio, and all of a sudden we're seeing like, oh my gosh, here's a whole nother dimension. They're beautiful just sitting there in that tray. Soul brought up a really cool point here. I'm looking at it like I want them all, but I have to give some up. Which
Mhm.
ones would I give up first? Which is actually, when you turn the tables like that, exactly what we do, right?
Mhm. In
You
a
know,
way, yeah, some of these are probably going to be in my collection forever, and the other ones are going to go away.
as lapidaries and as folks that do the shows, those of you who like for some reason are unfamiliar with Caleb. I know a lot of you guys know Caleb already, but tell us a little bit about what you do as far as your shows go. And you know are all of these for sale, or would you be holding out for a show? Tell us about that.
um, I've kind of okay, well, at least for the show side, I do like 3 shows a year, and then a couple private events that I sell cabs at. Um, and then I do a little bit of most of my stuff, or a lot of it comes from like private showings. So like people who have come to a show or an event and want to shop from me, they can come whenever and come shop their goods and have as much time as they want, have no pressure, and all that. What was the second part? Sorry.
Oh, no, the, like, actual choices that you
Oh,
would make as far as that array, like, you said you might be holding on to a few of those, and so
yeah,
how do you go
that's
about
right.
that?
Really, it's just what I want to keep. I have pivoted a little bit from what I used to do, which was kind of like just throw everything out there. If it sells, great. If it doesn't sell, it's still mine. I get to keep it. So it's always mine until it's gone, right? Um, but I have kind of started stashing away when I do sets like this, which is a little bit more uncommon for me. I really enjoy kind of just jumping around and working a little bit of this and a little bit of that all the time. But as I do sets like this, I usually am drawn into keeping some. Now, that being said, you would think that I would have kept my favorite, right? It's actually going away.
Oh, it's already going away.
That one's going away.
Well,
Yep,
so this is something that we have to deal with, especially when we're dealing with things that are absolutely unique. There are no two same of these available.
correct.
Sometimes we're able to make duplicates of things, but in this particular case, and in a lot of cases with Lapidary, we don't have that option. So how do you deal with that? You know that good one was going to go.
Um, well, I guess I've already gotten out of it what I want. And by that, I mean, I really enjoy the process of cutting up rocks, getting to play with the shaping and the material and cabbing them. That's my thing that I take away from it first and foremost before anything. So I've already gotten my reward by doing this and then sharing it with people and seeing, what people think about them and stuff. So I'm already set. Anything after that is just bonus. And so, if the way I kind of look at it, a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine says this quite often, that we may think of all of the things that we've collected or processed or done whatever with as ours, but really we're just the current curator of it until we're gone or it's gone to somebody else. And so just kind of like walking into everything like that just kind of gives me a little bit of freedom to like be like, oh, well, it's mine right now because it's mine. But somebody loves it so much that they want to purchase it from me, then okay, now they get to love it. I already got to love it. Now somebody else gets to love it. And if they make jewelry and it goes to somebody else, now they get to love it. And
Yeah.
so I don't get too broken up over losing great stones, you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely the way I've always felt about it too, is that it's never really mine. And we get to learn to live to lapidary another day if we are good with parting with
Right.
some of the very, very favorites. I know artists that have a really hard time selling their paintings and that sort of thing because it's the onlyest that's ever going to happen. But unfortunately, some of that can impede your forward momentum. So freeing yourself from the attachments of these things that you've done kind of can free you up to be able to accomplish more, because you see this empty place where all these cabs used to be, and okay, I gotta get moving. I gotta do some more work, and it's gotta be even better than it was before. So it
Oh
can be
yeah.
good for momentum. And I think it was Manny was asking back in the chat something about making pairs. And so, would making pairs be something that would be more attractive to people doing the jewelry end of it?
Oh, absolutely. I've oftentimes seen pairs sell faster than um just standalone cabs. Obviously, they're great for earrings. You can even do pendant things with pairs and that kind of thing, or matching rings for people. That seems I've seen that be kind of popular before too. Um, when possible, it's fantastic. If I get a thick slab, like standards kind of around quarter of an inch or so. Sometimes if I get a nice thick slab and I can split that and get a nice pair, sometimes I do it. I would say I don't do it enough or often enough. But if you can do it and you want to put in the time to get them both, in line with each other, that's great. And maybe you don't necessarily have to have them perfect. I see lots of pairs that are not perfect twins as far as like the shaping goes or whatever, still get sold. So,
You
um,
hit some wonderful, wonderful things right there as far as some guidance for some of the people that are cutting. Like, yeah, if you're tempted to do some duplicates, a lot of people don't, because they might have that itch to do something creative every single time. So doing two things the same sometimes isn't as easy
yeah.
or as flowy as far as creativity goes. But as a person that creates jewelry myself, I crave doubles so much for the earring
Mhm.
pairs, but also they are fantastic. You brought up this best point ever about even other compositions. Like if there are three, or if you think of a lot of the kinds of settings that the Native Americans make, they will have, a main stone and then an entire blossom of stones around that
Mhm.
are either same, or they're ascending and descending in size but not shape. The shape is all
Right.
uniform. And so these kinds of sets are amazingly fun to work with as a jewelry designer. So as a cab designer, this is something that you can do for sure.
Absolutely. I definitely do sets more than I do like matched pairs for like earrings or something. Sets, you can be off in sets on your shaping or get them close enough to that like when someone goes to do one of those Southwest styles where they're super popular to have like three or four, in a big old large ring or a pendant or whatever. You can be a little free there in your shaping. They don't have to be dead perfect if they are great. Everyone appeals it differently, and a lot of times you don't even have to do sets with the same stuff. You can mix and match turquoise and howlite or turquoise and whatever, and make something that just flows. I've got several customers that buy my stuff for sets like that.
Awesome. And I would like to welcome Tom Cat Josh into the chat. So good to see you, buddy. And then Manny is saying, what about sets? Like if you packaged all those cabs like 1 through 10, are you showing here as a package for a jeweler? So that would be a parcel, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a parcel. I do that sometimes if I want like I tend to do that with turquoise sometimes for sales. Where I want to like move a little bit more stuff. Maybe it's like, or it's like some of the cheaper stones. I will group them up and get like a good price for the group and try to move them a little bit more. And one thing that I have done and I see others do as well is like I might put all those, say I put all 10 of those on a card and I have a set price for all of them. That set price is probably going to come from me at a discounted price than they would be individually, because it's like a whole kind of like wholesaling. You want to move all of them, so if you want them, I'll give you a better price to buy all 10 instead of me trying to nickel and dime every one of them out, which could take who knows how long before they all sell, right? But something that you can do if you want to be a little bit more free is if someone wants to break the card set that you have and maybe you're wanting the extra money or whatever, I'll charge more for the pick out. Does that make sense?
That is fantastic for anybody who's contemplating doing this for, say, shows. Awesome. Yes.
Right. And then
That
I'll
makes
reassess the
sense.
set, reprice it and everything. But yeah, like if you're going to break my set that I'm putting out there, you're going to pay a little bit of a premium to break the set.
So this is actually a great segue to how you come into being able to price these things.
Okay. Well, welcome to the world of unknown here. There is
Right.
no like, I mean, with some things you can really kind of go by a standardized set price. A turquoise is kind of one of those things in Verisites. They kind of fall into certain little categories by carat weight that you can get into, and there's a bit of nuance to that, obviously. And not everything's like super set in stone, but there is kind of like a pretty good range there for that stuff. But like for your, I don't know, your crazy lace agate cabochon, I mean, what do you it's difficult because like at least for my thought process, I'm thinking about myself and providing a good price for the work that I do. So a lot of that's going to come from like cut quality, the quality of the material itself. Personally, cut quality for me, I try to do the best I can to get my girdles even, my doming even. I don't like putting out wonky stones. Sometimes some stones, especially when you have like mixed hardness things, it just kind of happens. You got quartz and turquoise together. If that turquoise doesn't match that quartz hardness well enough, you're going to get a wonky stone. But anyways, back to the pricing thing. It's just um, I kind of have minimums that I do now because like especially if you like compare yourself to other people and other things. A really small turquoise cab, I mean, if you go by carat weight, you're going to get like a few bucks for it. And that doesn't really seem like it's worth the time sometimes, especially with soft materials and things. If they're giving you a little bit of grief or they're kind of difficult to polish because of the hardness. So I kind of set myself a little bit of price minimums for certain sizes, and that's just me eyeballing it. And then you can take in the cut quality and material and all that, and you can kind of drive up from there.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat right now are kind of throwing in their 2 cents as far as some of the different things that would come into play when pricing. And I know it is the thing that makes my blood turn cold along with my sweats and even brings up my hackles a little bit because of all of the different things that you can sort of justify factoring in, and yet at the end of the day you can also have a studio full of things that don't sell. And so you have to find somewhere in between the market and what it is that you kind of need to get. And so they're all talking about those elements that would hopefully get you to that sweet spot. Do you have any suggestions as how to sidle up to the sweet spot?
Okay. Well, there's tools you can use for one thing to kind of gauge, and this is also super difficult because, like, say you look up crazy lace agate cabs on Etsy or eBay or something, you are going to see a flood of very inexpensive stones, and that's namely due to overseas cutters. The labor's cheap. And they just so much material gets imported up from there or over there and then back, and it's just super affordable for jewelers or people who want to do whatever with them. Obviously, I'm not that, and so and another thing is like the cut quality isn't always the greatest that's coming from over there. A lot of times you get like a back that isn't perfectly flat, so your stone rocks or your girdle will be like uneven heights, or your dome will be funky, or you'll have some scratches or some flat spots, and all that stuff I try to take out. So the cabs typically that I put out will have very minimal amounts of that kind of lower cut quality. I'm not perfect. Sometimes things get a little wonky. It is what it is. But I at least try to put in my best effort to get away to separate myself from that quality of workmanship.
I think that's actually a really really good place to start, on account that I think that I hear that kind of complaint the most, is that I just can't compete with fill in the blank. And
The
so
reality is nobody really can. Nobody's competing with that. If you do, or you think you are, I don't know, you're getting paid like pennies on for your hour of work, you know?
yeah.
That's tough. I mean, but if it works for you, maybe it works for you. I don't know. I don't know your situation.
Right, right. And I think that that's fair. And also markets can be very very dynamic, not
Hmm.
only from material to material that you're working with, but also from region to region, and it's accessibility. So, do you want to touch a little bit upon the difference between materials and expectations, and you can even talk about regions if you'd like.
Let's see. Uh, okay. Well, at least for material, I mean, when you're talking, like, there's quality, right? Take Labradorite for example. Um, some cabs are cut really well if you're getting slab or getting rough, and you get it right on the color mark where it's just big and bold and right in your face when you face it, or when you're facing it. That's a quality thing that you can take in. And a lot of stuff that comes from other places might not have that same quality. Well, oftentimes mass produced is like pumping out. Other times it's good or decent enough, right? um I definitely seem to see a higher quality cut come from like not certain places in the world where they're just pumping them out so fast that it's just roughed. It's kind of tough.
Oh yeah.
um I don't know, there's a whole lot of nuance to all of that. I see provenance here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that can lead provenance, that can lead into the different costs and things, right? Like, so for me,
Yeah.
some things that I get US materials, US turquoise and varicites typically aren't cheap, whereas you take like Chinese, like Hubei varieties of turquoise, you can get it considerably cheaper. um and so there's that, and I work with both. Like, I'm very happy to cut a ton of Chinese turquoise. I just did a whole mess of them very recently, and I'm
Oh
always
yes.
working on them.
So
It's
good.
fantastic. um uh But yeah, American-based materials are typically going to run you a little bit more. American miners, just the entire uh, economy for American-based materials is very, very different than some of the places overseas where it's just cheaper to get it. Not all of it.
Yeah.
Those Moroccan agates, that material is not cheap. I was just talking
Right.
with my friend who I was at his house actually like 30 minutes before I got here onto the live, talking with him because I had some stuff to pick up. But I was talking with him, see if he had any more, end cuts of that. And I got a couple little pieces from him. But he was talking to me when he was in Tucson. He was looking for more of that stuff. And that material is like $40 a pound.
Wow.
That is quite expensive than what most people are used to seeing at shows for maybe two or three, four, $5 a pound for certain things,
Sure.
and it's not like in abundance. You're not going to find like a warehouse full of it. And so
Yeah.
if translating that from that to getting the slabs of it, cutting and processing it, these cabs aren't cheap.
Right.
Not,
And so I remember when I first started going to Gem Show, agates felt like redheaded stepchildren. It just wasn't that hot. And that really brings up the point of the different undulations in the market itself. That sometimes certain materials are hot, hot, hot. And then other times they are not at all. You can get them for a great price. Like I entered the industry when Boulder Opal was on rock bottom. Like, it was sitting there next to Howlite.
Mm.
Sweet. And then, markets change.
Oh
And
yeah.
so what I think is interesting about that is that, if you're just coming into it, or if you're wondering, I see a lot of artists on Discord and on our groups in YouTube that are maybe just getting into, like, okay, I've been at Lapidary for a while and I've been making cabochons and I'm starting to consider doing live sales. And I think that it's interesting to, okay, great. But now you have to consider what the market portends.
Hmm.
So, do you have a little bit of advice for people that are looking at, I have these different materials, do you select your different cabs that you make because of materials? Do you just make the cabs and then have a lot of different prices? How do you approach that market aspect?
Well, at least me personally, that's shifted a lot over time. Like when I first started, I would say I was really cutting just about anything, and I'll still, to a degree, say that I'll cut just about anything. But I've also pivoted personally away from certain things, like sodalite. I don't really cut that much crazy lace agate anymore. Not that I'm against it. I tried personally to get a little more in the realm of unique things or uncommon things a little bit, just to separate myself a bit, because like that's one of the things you have to face is like if you're cutting labradorite like you do, your cabs are beautiful, that you do a good job with getting the color right and are like faced properly, and the shaping and everything, they look fantastic. But you're up against a literal tsunami of 10 million labradorite cabs from other places, and
Yep.
so it can be difficult to separate yourself in that market, right? It's super saturated. Um, so you can look at other things like especially shaping, oval, your typical standard sized oval cab. There's a million of them. Get a little crazy with it. Do other shapes and other things to make yourself stand out. And that's really what I do with everything that I have here. I'm fine with cutting your standard shape. Some materials want a simpler shape because the material itself is unique by on its own, so you don't have to get real crazy with the shaping. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Things like picture jaspers, they often look really good with simple framing. Getting a real crazy cab shape, it doesn't, I don't think it necessarily helps it that much.
Right. Yeah.
So there's just like lots of ways to kind of to navigate all of that. and ultimately do what you like. I mean, that's really it first and foremost. If you like cutting ovals, cut all the ovals you want. Do whatever you want because it's for you first, right?
I agree. The quality thing that you brought up, when you were specifically talking about the labradorite. So, you know, from an artistic point of view, if you've got a palette of red, yellow, and green, how are you going to be different? You know, how are you going to be a different artist than everybody else who has the same palette of red, yellow, and green? When you have these rocks, as Sonia is saying here, do you have an attention to the detail? Can you make the shine something better than you can get overseas? Can you make a shape that's different and unique for the jewelry designer? Can you add another detail like the under cut so that you've got room for the bezel transition?
Mm.
There are just these little things. Do you even shine the backs? And so, even if you're an American artist that is doing lapidary, and you don't feel like you want to shine the backs, so but even having that thought cross your mind, well, but I might be in competition with this other market. So what is
Mhm.
going to set me apart that I'm compelled to do? Like you said, if I love doing ovals, then I'm going to crank them out, and that's going to be
Mhm.
my sweet spot. And that's going to just, it's going to scream itself from the pieces that you make. Do your pieces scream that you had a dang good time making them, that you enjoyed doing it, and that you take pride in what you just did? I guess is sort of part of it.
Mhm. I agree with all that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
well, here's
go
a
ahead.
here's a little thought, a little bit more insight, and this is kind of like you think of the market sometimes as being like online, like it's everything outside of your little bubble, right? Well, I do some shows here. I was looking at doing a show down in Ventura, California. Because of some reasons, I didn't end up applying to do that show. And then I went to it this past weekend, and there was a vendor there who had just thousands and thousands and thousands of cabs.
Wow.
The abundance, the quality of the material, a lot of it was just fantastic, and something about this that I'll get to in a sec made me happy that I didn't do that show to a certain degree. Not to say that I wouldn't still have a decent show, but for this one reason, they were all $5 a piece.
Oh my gosh. Like, are they
Now,
retired? They don't have to make the money?
this is just a guy who gets a lot of overseas processed material.
Oh,
And it gets to the point like once you buy, there's a few benchmarks. Once you buy a certain amount, you get them for $4 a piece, and once you buy a certain amount, you get them for $3 a piece.
wow.
And these are caps. Some of this material is like picture jaspers and things that are like harder jaspers, things that and agates that take longer to work and get a good polish on. Now that being said, they weren't all of the best quality, but some of them were of quality that I would make. So they're definitely getting some different source in production there. But there's two things I saw besides the dealer himself was that there were two other vendors there separate of him that were also selling those stones. Like instead of having them all separated by material, they were all in just like one big box of the same exact stones that were all mixed together. So two other
Wow.
vendors at some point bought bulk from this person and was just selling it there. And then the other thing I noticed was that I heard probably at least 10 or 15 people just wandering the show for a few hours when I was at different booths say, "Hey, did you go see that vendor over there selling all those cabs? They're a great price, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff." That's
Right.
really difficult for someone like me to compete with.
Yep.
It would have been a tough show for me probably for that because that was just kind of like that's the craziest cab pricing I've probably seen in person ever.
Wow. Yeah, that is awfully low. I can't imagine being able to do that at all. Like,
You know,
unless there's like straight up stolen stuff.
I saw a ton of picture Jasper cabs that this person had that were like, you know, about this, probably anything smaller than about like this and about like that, ovals, rectangles, squares, circles, all, you know, shaped very, very nicely and polished quite nicely for $5 a piece. And I see people on like Instagram and stuff that are American cutters that are selling that same quality of stuff for like $40 a piece.
And you know, having been out there and knowing how expensive in time and equipment it is to actually trek to go get the stuff at all. And then, you know, that's not even counting cutting and doing all the things that we already know how to do. But it's in such a remote place that it makes me want to cry that it was going for so cheaply, because that stuff is a prize to be won. It's not easy to even go get if
Right.
you're getting it yourself. I mean, I just don't understand how that's even possible, you know? Like
Well,
that, like $5 wouldn't barely puts you, you know, into to gas to go a few miles there. You know what I mean?
and
It just doesn't make sense.
yeah, I mean, there's even machine cutting too these days.
Sure
So,
is.
I mean, that could be a degree of it as well. And it's tough. It's definitely tough to compete with. That's why I try to do things that make me stand out a little bit more. And I've even switched a couple local silversmiths who buy very almost solely from me these days, just because of like the material that I offer, the cut quality, because they were kind of getting tired of having to deal with uneven things. And you know, especially when you're making, I have some silversmith friends who make rings that are silver rings that are in like the $200+ range,
Yeah,
because they're very ornate, have a lot of detail, and the craftsmanship is incredible. They aren't like thrown together and loosely soldered, and they're like statement pieces.
yeah,
And it's tough to put it's tough it's tough to see for me a poorly cut stone in a statement piece where I
right.
see like polished flat spots or some scratches that were left behind, or you know, you can see their bezel wire is higher on one side than the other because they had to me that sucks.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, that's why I started Lapidary. Period! Exclamation point.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna do a really quick bell for Tomcat Josh because we got 5 more members to the Ozone tribe, and so here comes the bell. Everybody, take a big drink too. Thank you, Josh, and I hope that you have good gold luck tomorrow, doing your sluicing and panning for gold. And everybody, go watch if he's going to do a live too. And but this has been so interesting talking about the the challenges here as far as staking a claim on some individuality in your lapidary, and why when they visit your table, when they visit your booth, when they visit your website, you know, wherever you are with this, why do they stop there and drop the money, you know?
Mhm.
And that's a key on the pricing. So do you have anything more to add as far as like, you know, how to gauge your pricing?
Well, if you can always use the tools online, try to compare a little bit, do a little bit of research. You can take notes when you're at shows and what you see kind of the market is for certain things. Or Instagram's great. You know, if you search up Australian Vericide on Instagram, you can get a feel for kind of like what things are going for, and you can maybe kind of adjust accordingly. Um, uh, Oh, if you're doing shows, you can get feedback saying, you know, if you see people picking stuff up, asking you a price and setting it back down, that doesn't mean that it's bad or good. It just maybe it wasn't for them, or maybe it was bad pricing. You know, it's just all feedback. It's all ways to take in information. And it's really, well, ultimately, it's what you can get for it. Some people get more for certain things than I think I could get. That's just if you have the clientele built for it, maybe you can get better pricing. Or one of the
Yep.
things is like, once people know of your cut quality, they know what to expect from you. Maybe you're super consistent and all of your girdles are exactly the same height every single time, or whatever it is. Like, that's all stuff that helps. And if you get to a point when you're cutting really good quality stones, you can feel comfortable coming up a little bit, to because people are gonna, especially if you're putting yourself out there, they're gonna learn that eventually. So that's good for you.
Oh my
Take
gosh, that's
advantage of it.
yeah, that is
You
such
don't
a
have to
good
get out
point.
of whack, but reward yourself if you're doing good work.
Boy,
uh,
that is a phenomenal point. I'm gonna give Sage Rat a really quick bell here for the super sticker. Thank you, Sage Rat, and I don't think I saw you come in, so thank you for swooping by. And I think I didn't say hi to Scott either. So cheers to you, Scott, and here's the bell. Well, sorry to impede upon, like, that was like some sage stuff that you were just dropping right there for sure. You know, and I think that there's something to be said for when you are being the honey to attract some of these clients that you're talking about. Like, I've watched you, definitely attract some great jeweler clients, like in the past little bit. Being able to be in a position where you would afford them, hey, you bought this many, how about you have these ones too,
ah,
try this. What would you say to that?
I play into that all the time. Not only in terms of just gifting things, but giving good pricing. I have jewelers that come to me privately here. They get, open-ended shopping, kind of like even get to kind of get into the things that I don't normally put out, because they support me. They get
Yeah.
perks for being such, good customers and clients. And so there's that. So I definitely give better pricing to them always. It's like there aren't there's a good number of them now, I guess, that do get a better pricing than I would just give you for like a single stone, or you're like the first time coming to me. Um, I'll typically take on commissions from those people, within reason, because
Mhm.
you know and then also sometimes I come across things, that maybe I buy a lot of something off of eBay or whatever, and I get some stuff, I'm like, oh, this is cool, I could sell this or whatever. But sometimes it immediately clicks to me, like somebody pops in my head, like, oh, this person would really like this. And if it's one of these people, I'm like, yeah, here, take this, you
Yeah.
know
Oh yeah.
um or I'll throw stuff in. Sometimes I've got people who are him hawing, and I'm like, hey, I was like, if you, and this could be even just a random person at a show, if they're kind of him hawing, I'll be like, hey, you kind of picked that one up there. Do you want that one too? I'll throw it in. There's like ways,
Yes. Yes.
it costs me a stone. I don't know. To me, I'm really open and free about that kind of stuff. I don't mind. I'm not. uh, There are, and every dealer's different. I'm not going to knock anybody for their own practices with their business. But this is just like things that I do because I'd rather make a customer happy, have them come back, remember me, whatever, share who I am to somebody else. To me, that's all just good business. And what does it cost me? Another rock? I don't know. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Or a
I
few
think,
bucks.
yeah, this brings up a great point as far as how you deal with your public and how what your platform is. If you are at shows, I miss dealing with people in human form, like from me to them, without the internet in between,
Mm.
so badly, because you can do that when you just said, you keep on picking up that rock. Why don't you just take that one too? I love that so much. And I've had that happen to me, like at gem show and stuff like that. And you know what? That does go a hugely long way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I'm a very like proactive and active vendor when I'm at the shows. I'm not there, I'm standing. I'm not going to speak for about other people. I'm standing. I'm walking around my booth, especially when I have like an open like U shape sometimes. Sometimes it's front facing, sometimes people can come in. I talk with people, I greet people, I talk with them. I ask them like, "Hey, what are you interested in? What are you looking for? Maybe I can help you get to it quicker, just to, or anything." All that kind of stuff, or ask them what they like. "Hey, did you see these? You kind of like those? You like picture, Jasper? Hey, I've got stuff over here and stuff over here." And all of that is just, it's really good. And reading people a little bit is helpful. Sometimes people don't want to be bothered, so you can read maybe to leave people alone a little bit, but still just having a little bit of interaction goes a super long way with building up even just a short, you only saw them once relationship with a person for 20 minutes while they shopped your booth or whatever.
Right.
I love all of that. I love talking with people.
Oh my gosh, that part is so much fun, and I think it was Mr. Chubby Heavy, somebody up in the chat a little while back was talking about that interaction of the person with the stone and how they loved seeing the smile come upon somebody's face when they kind
Hmm.
of connected with the one. And there is something that absolutely transcends any of the rest of it
Oh yeah.
when you get to be a part of that interaction. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
that will make me drop my prices. Like, oh my gosh, you have to
Yeah.
have it then. Like, what can I do? And Tara was just talking about that too, that a vendor made her a deal that she couldn't refuse because, yeah,
Hmm.
she obviously had seen that
Oh
wash
yeah.
over. I
Oh
love
yeah, I've
that.
seen I've seen people just, even if they didn't get it, just fall in love with something that, and it's special to me because I'm typically the one who, not 100% of everything that's in my booth came from me in a way, but majority of it does. So when I see people like, just melt away when they see something that I worked on, and already do like what you do when I send you photos where you already start dreaming up things you would do with it.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
can
I've
see
sent
it, and
so
that's super
many of your
rewarding.
pieces already. I can't tell you how many. I've like done the entire thing bare without the molecules actually coinciding. Mike, hello. Sorry that I missed it. John's also joined us as well as a few others. I don't even know if I said hi to Phil. These guys are having a great conversation while we're doing our thing on the side. You guys really are the show there in the conversation. We'll just converse while you guys chat. But yeah, this has been really really interesting. I think from my point of view, and hopefully from everybody else's point of view, especially if you're looking at doing a show. A lot of shows are coming up right now that you might be going to. And so maybe a little empathy for the person who's behind the table, or
Always
maybe
be
some different
kind.
ways. Yeah.
Start
Oh my
off with
gosh.
kindness always.
It's such a long haul when you look at the very beginning of like you are already spent like crazy when you show up to start setting up because you can never have too many stones, and so you're probably producing, burning the midnight oil and the candle at both ends for weeks ahead of the
Hmm.
show. And then you had to pack everything up very carefully, move it to the site,
Yeah.
start unpacking, have the brain capacity to set it up in such a way that, you could even shop and find the setup itself. There's like energy spent in just the way that the display looks and everything. So if the person on the other side of the table looks like they really need a coffee or a Red Bull or something stronger, then know that they do, and yeah, afford them at least the big smile, if not you can be kind. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. It's
for sure.
tiring. Even just like a couple days show can be very tiring. It's a lot of talking. I mean, like I said, because I'm usually talking with people the whole time. Like by the time I'm done, I'm usually toast. Even
Yeah.
though I enjoy it, sometimes I'm like, man, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, and a lot of I know a lot of you rock people. Like I've talked to some of you about interviews and others of you about different meetups and things like that. And I think that there's something about rock folk. Maybe is that we like living under them, but I have never met so many introverts in my whole life. Like, there are so many of us
For
that are like,
real.
yeah, we love hanging out together on the internet, but like, if you catch me live, I'm probably going to jump underneath a rock or down a rabbit hole or something.
Mm.
And so yeah, all the socialization that is required, all the peopling, all the responsibility, all the things that are going wrong. I remember I was at a gem show in Tucson, and it was before I moved there. The wind blew so hard it blew some of the tents over.
Oof.
You never know what just happened,
Hmm.
like the day before or something. Like if that person was just a touch cranky or
Yeah.
something.
I've seen vendors' tables collapse while they were setting up with stuff on
Ah,
them, and
oh,
it's just like, oh man, I can't even imagine having to deal with, like, what just happened, whether
yeah,
it's damages, the time lost, and just, you don't need that pressure when you're setting
yeah.
up, because you usually get a day to set up for a show, or like not even, a partial day sometimes.
Right. Yeah, and like, not to mention the fact that sometimes your some of your pieces will walk away, and that
Oh
might put
yeah.
you in a mood. Yeah, there's just all sorts of different things that, yeah, can cause some friction there. And so for sure, being kind on both sides. And John was just saying, yeah, it's a good adage to just, do unto others for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I even just this weekend I was purchasing some slabs and stuff, and I had to wait at one vendor like 10 minutes for him to finally get over to where I was to help pay and process, because he had a very large booth. He had bins and bins of slabs and things. He had rough rock, and it was this weird shape and layout for his booth. Works for him, but it also keeps him, sometimes on the outer and talking with people, because he's trying to talk, give people information, and you just have to be patient a little bit in that. Like, I just stood there and waited, and then he eventually some came over. Didn't have to go. We had already talked prior. He was gonna make his way back. It just took some time, and then he like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, I need to get over there. It happens.
Totally,
I mean,
totally.
there's been times I've been tied up with someone making a big purchase order of cabs, and I'm trying to sort everything out and give them info and do pricing if I haven't done that on some stuff, and then I've got people over here asking me questions and questions, and it's difficult sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It really is a challenge. Like, you are spinning plates and you don't want to, you don't want to drop the plate when in the middle of a big purchase, or somebody who was in your booth, and then you notice that they just petered on out.
Oh yeah, I didn't
And
even get to talk to them or anything,
yeah.
and
Oh, you just missed an opportunity. You don't know if that was like the whale just swam through your booth, and yet you didn't get to him. And yeah, there's a lot of you guys over here saying such things. There was another person that I was wondering if I had said a salutation to that I might have missed, and now I'm not seeing it anymore. But yeah, that actually reminds me to Cynthia Foss had asked, and this is like switching gears just a little bit, but you were talking about all the rocks. She wanted to know, how many pounds of rocks do you think you have?
oh, there's quite a bit.
Are we more into tons than pounds, perhaps?
There is probably a ton at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot. I mean, just from just rough rock to slabs. A lot of it no one's even seen, because I still have it all either outside or in bins and buckets and tubs and all kinds of stuff stored away. There's stuff I haven't seen. If
That's exciting.
that's
You still
truthful.
have boxes that you can still discover, like Christmas in your studio.
I guess I won't give it in terms of pounds, but there's thousands of, or in tons, but there's thousands of pounds probably here. Exactly how many I couldn't even estimate.
Wow. That, yeah, how phenomenal. I mean, some of us have trouble trying to figure out what to cut when we, probably more in the thousand range, maybe. But yeah, that's overwhelming. Jerry is saying that he's got something like 3,000 in there, and Resort Dog is also saying like tons and tons.
Hmm.
Yeah. And all those different materials having just different values for
Hmm.
us, and different cabbing opportunities. What are you most excited to cut next?
I am working on doing some plume agate stuff and some saginite agate stuff. A lot
Oh.
of local Napomo saginite agate's pretty famous material. I have quite a bit of it. Um, I'm going to be working on processing some of that stuff to make really unique cuts. Um, and then just some oddball plumes from different places around the world that I have that I'm trying to make some just, like I said, always say unique cabs out of. Just let the plumes do the business side of it, let that be the feature and build, kind of do things around it. So maybe I can come back and talk about that once I've fleshed out some more of that. I have some that I've already done from previous years and stuff, but I'm trying to, like I did with the Moroccans, have a little bit more set stuff, a little bit more options for things instead of like the one or two or however many off Sagenites I have a little set of similar things that people can gaze at and play with and whatnot.
Oh man, we would love to see that. That is a date. The next Friday the 13th that we have, we are definitely getting together for that. Hopefully even sooner.
Hopefully sooner. That's one of the next things, and then I have some other little agates that I got from a friend who's getting one of the Moroccan cabs that I'm excited to play with as well. Some so-called like strawberry patch agates. Those are kind of exciting.
So,
Napomo
yeah.
Marcasite agate. Yeah. Yeah, Rocky Mountain Bear. I live very close to the source of the Napomo Marcasite and the Napomo Saginite agate. Um, it's in my backyard. And I've been able to amass quite a lot of both of those materials over the years. As I don't know, maybe people in the know might know, people not. It's kind of difficult to collect that stuff these days. There was a time when ranchers would let you just go out into the. They got a nickname for the stuff called beanfield agates. They have a very specific look to them. There was a time when ranchers and farmers would let them people just go out there, but it's a very different world than it was 50 years ago. And so it's much more difficult. You either got to know people or try to get into the few creeks that are around and get some stuff. And it's not super abundant anymore. There's a lot of it
Right.
out there, but it's not a lot. There's not a lot of new.
All right, and Manny, it'll be before November, I promise.
Yeah.
Um, and Sol, I did mention this actually at the top of the show about that Opal guy's video about the micro zone that he did. It was super fun, so go check that out. Fabulous banded agates that we got to take a walk through, and so we actually have another lightning round for you if you want.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Do you have some more about the agates that you wanted to discuss, or pricing?
Um. Okay. Yeah. Just real quick on that stuff.
Yeah.
I bounced off some pricing that I kind of had in mind versus what I thought other people might think that are also cabbers. That's a very useful tool. It can kind of help gauge. You can get into a range and then find a place that you're comfortable with. One thing I'll note about these ones in particular, and this is something that a friend of mine brought up, is that oftentimes this particular material can be fractured And that's something you have to deal with, cutting around and dealing or having it be part of it. One of these stones actually has a healed fracture in it, which is cool, which is the upper left one, the triangle shape with a lot of clear agate. That actually has a very well hidden, you'd only see it in certain angles, and it's not a visible fracture on the surface. You don't see a crack there or anything. It's I think it's healed. um but to have quality material where it's fracture free, has great polish. It does have a little bit of pitting, so there's that, but you'll get that. It can cause things to be a little bit, or these would be a little bit more expensive than what you might think, for the quality. So that's just something about them. In case people were wondering, you might see them and think the little ones are like, $8 or something. They're a little bit more than that. But yeah, anyways, that's it for those, I think.
Okay. Um, so like without going individually, would you mind giving us a flux of like say probably the least expensive and the most expensive. You don't have to say which ones they are, but
Hmm.
like just how about a price range just so that people can kind of get a visual on it and go like, "Oh, okay. I see what you're saying."
And personally, with my pricing, it's going to be somewhere on the low end, being about $25, upwards of about 70-ish dollars.
Excellent. And I think that that's like abundantly right anyway.
Yeah,
For yeah, like I
and
wouldn't
don't get
argue
me
with
wrong.
that for a minute.
Uh, Several of those are actually probably worth a bit more than that. This is
Mhm.
just my own personal way of pricing and assessing things and taking in the feedback that I've gotten. If you, for instance, go and look for stuff like this, it's hard to come by the agate nodules themselves, let alone the cabs. These I could probably, if I went to like a big show somewhere, I could probably charge closer to double that in at a show in theory.
Right.
Um, it's hard. It's stuff. It's hard to come by stuff. So, but I don't mind. This is just my own personal pricing. Take it for what it's worth.
Oh, that's excellent. No, I appreciate you sharing that information with us. One of the things to take into consideration is who you're selling it to. Are you selling it to somebody who like that's its last stop? Like they are collecting as a specimen or they are a cab collector, as opposed to somebody who is maybe your client that is a jewelry designer that is going to have to take that price and roll it in to all of the rest of the supply prices and all of the hours that they put into the jewelry piece and then also resell, you know? And so
Oh,
I think that there's a lot there.
I have one more note, and
Yeah.
I'm going to say this because I saw this recently from a friend of ours who does Instagram sales. Sometimes you have to buy me out of my cab, and what I mean by that is sometimes I have something that to me is worth more than what you think it might be worth. Like a really cool capture in a stone. Um, I've done different things before, but if there's like an agate that has trees and things going on with it and whatever, sometimes you have to buy that out of me if I want to keep it for myself. In a sense, like as in it might cost you over $100, where the other agates that are similar to it that don't have that one special feature to it might be much cheaper in like the $20 to $30 range. Sometimes you have to buy me out of that special thing. It's more of like I don't really want to sell it, but it is technically available.
Right. Yeah, if you want it, you can see if you can get it.
Right.
Yeah, we
This is
were
like the really rare uncommon things that you come across, like a dendritic. Well, I'll give the shout out to Pebble River. Posted up on their recent cab sale this incredible uh what was it? Is it a dendritic agate that had like it had a very defined looking what are they called, dandelion,
Oh
and
yeah.
then it had a bunch of little specks and things that looked like it was kind of blowing away. Now that is a
Wow.
very unique, one of a kind cabochon that deserves a very different kind of pricing for it, because you're not that's not coming again, probably.
Totally fair. And I think we were just talking about this earlier today. Theo was talking about the pricing on Montana agates in the exact same way that you've got agates and agates and agates, but then you've got ones that have like perfect trees or an entire grove of trees or an entire landscape. And
Right.
these shoot up in price so exponentially fast. And those of you who shop on like more of a jewelry scale know that Montana agates are already expensive in the agate world. And so even though we know that where they come from and how many there might be, the special ones like the iris agates go for a carat price. An
Right.
agate that goes for a carat price. And so yeah, my mom's in the house. Good to see you. Just saw you pop up. And I don't know if oh yeah, Age of Anderson is here as well. Saying hellos to you. And I think that you were the one that I saw before that I wanted to say hi to. And I don't know if I said hello to Rocky Mountain Bear, even though I know I put a comment of yours up there. Hello to all you guys. We're getting ready for the lightning round, I think, unless we've got some more things
I'm
to
good.
add. But no, that was really good. We could just go on and on as far
Sure.
as this topic goes. And I know that a lot of you guys were really excited about this topic too, because you're dealing with the same thing. Either you're on the selling end or you're on the buying end. We're all rock, addicts. And so we have to deal with these things. I both buy and sell. We have to figure our heads around it. And it's not exactly for most of us the most delicious of topics. Like I if it could just be the art side of it, I would love it so much. But we have to decide, how much things are and deal with the kind of admin nitty-gritty. And so
Mhm.
it's a very good conversation to have, and I'm sure that we'll be having more of them. So Ryan, actually, I asked out if anybody would like to ask some questions, and Ryan had the question: if you could only find, if you're a rock hound, or work if you're a studio lapidary, one type of stone for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Mm.
Yeah. We stumped him right from the get-go.
I'm turquoise.
I kind of figured. Yeah, and you would be probably still in your happy place as long as your all of your wheels were behaving, right?
Yep.
Yep. Which is a sore spot. Uh, oh, and actually, with Ryan being present, let me bring this up really quick, and we're just gonna go back to, yep, that. Okay, stop there. Whoops. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's go back to that and bring that up. Okay, wait, nope. Oh my gosh, are you even kidding me? That. There we go. Okay, so what's wrong with this picture, Caleb?
Well, Well, I know which picture you're referring to. It's not the one I currently see.
Oh,
I'm
bummer.
seeing you facet amethyst at the moment, but
Oh,
the huh?
go ahead.
Is that what I'm supposed to be seeing?
No, it's the one of
Okay, yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I saw when I caught it for a second was that one hand has way too many fingers.
Yeah, you've got like an extra two to lacerate,
Mhm.
before you're in any kind of trouble.
I don't need more.
You got too many fingers as it is.
They're in the way sometimes. Ask my fingernails.
Yeah, right.
But no, I don't know any others because I didn't get that long to look at it earlier.
Okay, so do you currently own a genie?
Yes.
Oh, you do have a genie. Okay. So there's a genie back there. I'm like, huh. But yeah, you do actually.
Uh-huh. It's missing some stuff. but I do have one.
Okay, so that's what's wrong with the picture, is that it's got all
Well,
of its
genies don't
teeth
look like
in.
that. Pixies look like that. And there's
That's
a
true.
older generation machine that has 8 wheels that looks like that. Oh, there it is. I can see it now.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, what else? What else?
I like the cheeky beret personally.
Yeah, that's not too accurate. I do wear bandanas, so there's that. Um, it looks a little too organized to me.
Right. It's too clean.
um, this gentleman looks a bit more handsome to me.
Aw, that's awfully humble of you.
But other than that, it looks all right. I think we're.
All right. Yep. Good job, Ryan. Good
Thank you,
job.
Ryan.
Yeah. Ryan made the AI for everybody. Thank you so much for that. Had to share that before we move on through the lightnings. And so Ryan also wanted to know yellow or Dijon mustard, sir.
Well, that's very dependent on what I'm eating. I guess I'll just go yellow because it kind of applies to a lot more things, I guess.
Yeah, Dijon is a little more specialized. What superhero are you? We're not on Ryan anymore. This is mine.
Oh, what superhero am I?
Yeah.
Like, what's my name?
Yeah,
Or like, what was it? One of my powers?
yeah, either existent or non-existent superpower or superhero are you? In fact, it would be great to hear the superhero and the superpower. You upped your own ante on that one. I'm gonna have to add that to the
Oh, great.
yeah, you did that to yourself.
Uh, Jeez. Um, Maybe have like the power to move the earth. Then I could like
Ooh.
find things and do it faster. And I guess you could call me uh, Earth Shaker.
Oh, he's the Earth Shaker. Everybody, welcome the new Marvel comic book hero. I
I'm
love
sure there's
it.
gonna be an AI of that now.
Yeah, Ryan's on it right now.
He's already started the prompt.
Yeah, post that in the Discord, pal. Okay, we've got pie or cake.
Bye.
Why?
I do not like a majority of the frostings that exist in the world.
Oh my gosh, bang on with that. What kind of pie is your favorite?
Oh, I'm a really big fan of key lime and chocolate cream pie.
All right. That's a like a range. We got fruit and then we've just got
Well,
decadence
then there's
there.
this one. It's like a. I don't know if you can really consider it a pie anymore. It's half cheesecake and half pumpkin pie.
Ooh,
I
man,
don't know
that
that it's
sounds
got a
good.
name, but I can never remember what it is.
I would name it Eaton. All right. We've got sunshine or rain.
Rain.
Oh, I love it. And so
Hmm.
in terms of enjoyment, but also in terms of hounding,
Yeah. Lets you
same.
see everything better. Yeah.
I would agree. I love the sunshine very much, but for fossil hunting, I would prefer rain.
Yeah. I think. Well, yeah. A big part of it. I live in a very sunny part of California that doesn't get a whole lot of rainfall on
Right?
average.
So you might crave some drops.
Hmm.
And Val is in the house. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Dop or hold by hand. This is a little bit like this was actually one of my older questions, and before your drama.
I definitely prefer to cab by hand.
Right on. Not that you have PTSD or anything
There's a
like
lot of nuance to that, but I definitely prefer by hand.
that. Right on. Okay. Here's a heavy one. Synthetic stones are just as good, true or false?
False.
Why?
Personally, it'll be because I like uh I don't know. There's something special about something that we didn't have a hand in making, that the earth just naturally produced. So having like things like diamonds and whatever that have natural carbon inclusions and things, although some people view them as a flaw, that's something very unique about them.
Right. So we have the Earth Mover and your sidekick, Natural Stone. Okay. Who is the real 007?
uh I don't know, honestly. I've never been super into 007 ever.
Right on.
Some games when I was a kid, but
doesn't
I couldn't even tell you the actors' names that play them.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite color?
Ooh, tough.
That's not a color.
I know. It's more dang, you're not gonna like this answer either. It's more of like a dark shade of colors are my favorite. But by that I mean like if you think of like the color like Viridian for green,
Oh yeah.
it's like that rich dark green that's like has a vibrancy but it's in a darker tone kind of, if that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah. I
I
like how
like that
specific you're
color
getting.
in I like that color in gray, like charcoal, metallic charcoal gray, viridian
Mm,
green, that like I don't know, steel blue. It's that anything with that is like my favorite color.
okay, a hue group.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? That is one of the most unusual answers I've had to that question, and I really like it. You get a badge or something for that. Okay, true or false? Bigfoot exists.
False.
All right, I'll let that lie. Where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
Instagram, TikTok, and at one point in time YouTube, but not so much these days.
Oh, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I want to. I mean to. I really had a drive to do that starting again this past couple months, but I have been uh, s- thin with time to be able to go out, and because I like to go out and do something. I haven't even done much, if any of that, recently. So I could make shop videos, but my videos always have a shop element anyway. Um, I don't know. I know people would still like that, especially hearing me talk about these things and the nuances of dealing with things. I know I'm terrible about it, but yeah, time's been kind of tough lately.
We understand that 100%, and there is the live stream potential, of course, here, but also every now and again we get lucky and we catch you over there on the Discord too. And
Hmm.
so I think that, knowing that there's a plan B there, it's okay. But meanwhile, definitely go check out Caleb if you're not already subscribed on Instagram, friends with Freeform Lapidary. You need to go over there and do that on account that you do post up quite a bit over there, right?
That is the primary place where I post things. It might not always be like a static post to my account, but I'm always sharing stories of stuff when I actually get a good shop time. So when I actually have time to work in here a little bit, like every day almost, there's things popping up basically every day there to see, at least in the stories. Otherwise, it's like I usually limit posting to like doing something a little more special, whether that's like one special cab or a polished specimen I do or things like that. But I'm still playing with things that I want to post up, so there'll be more for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, Instagram is probably my favorite scroll right now. I kind of have jumped off completely of the Facebook crazy train, and I
Yeah.
don't have Discord on my phone, so I'm not tempted to go to Discord because that would like completely take me off the rails. So I love that, you and By the Beers Lapidary, our friend over there, and some of y'all over there on the Discord, keeping it rock oriented so that I don't have to see too many weird people dancing. I
Very
do
good.
appreciate that very much. So, thanks again for coming on this auspicious 13th, and we didn't have problems with the chat or the stream
No,
or anything. I
I
don't
was
know what
worried
to
at
make of that.
first when I first joined the streaming service. I had to do it 3 times because the first 2 times I was listening to you talk and it was just all robot clipping in and out,
Mm.
and I was like, please no. And I did it. I was like, oh no, it's still doing it. So I had to restart my phone real quick and do all this stuff and get it Wi-Fi hooked back up, and it worked out.
I saw you come and go a couple times,
Yeah.
and the only thing that so that works for sure if you're having any issues coming in and out of the StreamYard platform, which is what we're on for all y'all that are listening. But every now and again, when somebody drops and they want to come back in, that's like them knocking. Hey, Karen. Like they'll leave
Hmm.
and come back because I don't recognize that they're there, and then they'll leave and come back and go because it'll show me at the very top of my screen like that so and so has just entered. And so I wasn't sure, like you were like coming back. I'm like,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
not working. That happens a
I know
lot,
you're there.
actually.
Wow. Okay. That's
At
interesting
least,
to know from your end.
yeah. It's really, I think, just a internet thing here. Because once I restarted everything and got the internet reset, it was fine. But
Gotcha. All right, and so something that we didn't chat about, but we'll say really quick because Ryan just reminded us. We've got Thunder Eggs posted for the Makers Showcase over for March, and you could tell us really quick what we've got going on over at the
cab contest.
yeah.
Real simple one this month. Bren Bloom won the last month's contest, so she picked the theme for this month, and in the spirit of what's this holiday? Oh dear,
St. Patty's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day. Holy moly.
Yep, it's okay.
Um, she chose green rocks, so all green rocks apply. I'm assuming that means primarily green. You could probably get a little squirrely in there, but yeah, green rocks is the theme. And we have a
Yeah.
few already, which is nice.
Yeah, we've got some really cool submissions already, so you can find it over there in your menu and swoop upon it and check out what's already up there. And we've got jewelry competition and like Ryan said, the showcase as well, and we have the free for all as well. So go check out those competitions if you are getting or trying to get your bottom moving on doing some cab making, joining the crowd of doing the cab designing and everything like that. This is a great excuse to have to do something.
Yep.
So
It's good motivator.
join us. And I'd like to thank everybody out there for coming, as well as you, Caleb, for spending the time with us once again.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And I hope to everyone you enjoyed the nuances of the topics that we talked about. There's a lot you could dive into there. We could go on all day talking about that subject and just get completely lost. But yeah, I was happy to come on and kind of give you guys. I love sharing kind of my perspective on things because this is just from me learning. I didn't have a mentor like holding my hand and teaching me these things. This is all just from experience, and I may be off the mark on some things, but I just kind of compile and observe and all that kind of fun stuff for it.
In a lot of ways, if you have to learn in real time, sometimes those lessons can be a little bit more pertinent than
Mm.
something that's been passed down because things do change. And so
Oh yeah.
it's really great to have a fresh approach to
Hmm.
what's going on right now with the market. So we really appreciate your whole ensemble of whys that you dropped on us this evening, and all of the eye candy too. Those cabs are so beautiful. Looking forward to those ones that are coming up too.
Yeah, me too. I have a one show and tell item if we have just like a quick couple
Yes, we
minutes.
totally do. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
some years ago, I got a part of a collection that was at risk of going to the dump because the parents had passed at the same time, and the kids were dealing with their estate, and they had zero interest in rocks. So I went and salvaged some things and saved them for the dump. And so I held on to one of these really big chunks of rock for a long time. It did have it was probably about like this big of a chunk, and it was a moss agate, and it had one face cut on it. It had been spray painted on and like other stuff, and it needed some love. And I was just trying to find the what I figure out what I was going to do with it because I didn't have a way to process it, and I knew some people that did. Eventually, I showed it to a friend of mine who I got the Moroccan agates from, and he can after talking with him, he was interested in getting the at least half of it into a polished specimen, which is his thing. So I was like, cool. So he gave me a couple of slabs off of it, some nice thick, like I think like half-inch slabs, and then he agreed to polish the best one of them for me. And so I ended up getting that back today.
Oh,
And
wow.
so um, this is it.
Oh my gosh, no way. Oh
Yeah,
my
just
gosh, I'm
a
glad you
size
didn't
comparison here.
miss us doing this. Look at that. Oh, bring it
Um,
closer. Yeah. Woo.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh
whoa.
my
Very
gosh.
nicely polished, as you can see.
Wow.
But yeah, this is like a
What?
swampy green moss agate. Let me see. I can't really. I'm trying to get the light right, just for
Oh, that's
detail.
good. Just, yep. That's huge. I
Oh
mean, even
yeah,
the mossing is huge. Like it's like uh the same kind of a pattern that a small one would be just blown up. Like it's not
right.
small moss on a big thing, it's a big moss.
Oh
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. This has a very nice like. It's got a few different shades. So there's like kind of like a like if you're familiar with like the old man's beard green moss that grows on like oak trees and stuff like that.
Love that stuff.
So it has very much that color. Some of it even goes into a little bit more of like a yellowish color. A little bit of white agate pockets and things like that in it. And yeah, I was just super stoked to have this finally be like finished. One thing I would like to figure out at some point is what those big dark spots are. So they are
Yeah.
a dark green, and I can't really figure out. They have like almost a waxy look to them, where they're broken on like the outer edge and stuff. And they're a bit pitty, but I'm not really too sure what mineral is going on there. But
Serpentinite? Is it?
possibly.
Yeah, it could have been like some sort of serpentinite that kind of brecciaed into an agate uh deposit.
That is very possible. It's really hard to say for sure without doing any kind of real formal testing on it, but it has
Yeah.
a cool pattern. It does kind of have a serpentine look. At one point, I thought it might be some kind of like a green opal or something, but I don't really think that anymore. But
You could take a little bit of it, off that rough edge, from the back and do a test, like just maybe flay a little tiny bit off of the back
oh
of the
yeah,
edge.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe could. I have a couple more pieces, so I could play with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, that is gorgeous. That needs to be like in a pretty presentation and inside the house.
Yeah, yeah, I'll figure out a stand for it and get it displayed up. But yeah, that was gonna be in
No way.
the dump somewhere. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everybody, like, okay, so we're not above dumpster diving.
No, not if there's a rock collection.
Right? That's so
And
crazy.
that's a whole nother topic for another time. But yeah, they do end up there
Yeah, and
sometimes.
and Ma saying Cabot. There would be a few cabs in that, but, that's one of those rare occurrences where I'd probably actually not be tempted to cab it up either.
Oh no, that's just a premium specimen. I've got a bunch of small of that stuff,
Wow.
you know.
Oh, okay, good to know. It's okay if any of that decides to find its way in my box if it
Okay,
ever feels
fair
like
enough.
it needs to.
It might. It just might. There's a couple bins of it up there.
All right, I like that. Okay, well, we've got this.
Oh my god.
Ryan is quick to work.
Wow.
It's the earth mover.
Well done.
So you're well on your way to being a hero. Congratulations, Caleb. Thank you so much, Ryan, for instant gratification. We really
Very
appreciate
good.
that.
Very good.
Here we have mild-mannered Caleb that walks around being this guy until he becomes the earth mover. So brilliant. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us here. And of course, our guest, Caleb, his link is in the description for the YouTube. And I should add the one for the Instagram on there. So if you're checking this out later, that'll be there too. You are welcome to go on over to the Discord and check us out there. And you're welcome to join any of the contests or lurk around, join the different conversations. We've got some really cool things that are even new, like our the Wednesday Tumblr watch that just started last week that we've incepted, and that's been a lot of fun seeing what everybody is sharing over there on the Tumblr channel. So from the Friday Night Live, Caleb and myself, we'd love to wish you a very, very fun-filled, rock-filled weekend. We'll see you in the live streams and everything. And I'm going to send you away with some thunderous King Tides one more time because I didn't have time to make a new credits. Alive, everybody. Oh, and look, it's still you. Let's bring this back up here. One more time. There we go.
Very good.
Cheers, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Are you here? Am I here? Man, we can't hear me. Let's start over again. Are you here? Am I here? man, we can't hear me. Let's start over again.